Good evening, Periscope. If you're in the UK, that is. Good afternoon if you are in the US, because I know we've got people from both sides of the pond. Talk about both sides of the pond. We've just had Tony Rossi join straight away. Look at all these people. Tim Charles, Sour, the hipster. I think so Anna join. Everyone's just piling in. Great to see everybody. Yes, a good evening if you're in the UK. Matty Gordon, there's a lot of new names here. Let us know where you're viewing from. Bob with a load of B's. Bob's with a load of B's. Let us know where you're viewing from. For those who've got no clue who I am, never been on a scope before, my name's Ross. Good evening, Mr. Ross, as the hipster. Hey Ross, just feeding my new pet hamster Billy. Excellent work, Anna. Yeah, for those who don't know me, my name is Ross. I'm an actor, a voiceover artist from Manchester in the UK. I scope twice a week, once on a Monday, once on a Wednesday. Good evening, Nina. And on a Wednesday night, it's book club. Okay, book club is exactly that. It's a book club where we look at a book a month. We dissect it over that month, either one chapter or two chapters each session. And it's a book on anything from personal development, things that are going to help you kind of hack your body, your brain, your mind, help you be more motivated, more productive in life, get more done, ultimately get further in your life faster. Meet my bae, says Sadia. Meet my bae, please. Who's your bae, Sadia? don't know who it is, but welcome anyway. He's my bae as well, says Ali. Everyone's on it. These are all new people as well. Sophie Mort's here. Sophie's not new. Matt Hall is here. Look at all these people. So Ali is here. Excellent work. Well, it's great to see everyone. It's brilliant to see some new faces as well. Sadia's on it like a car bonnet. Excellent. I love it. Right, guys, tonight. So, well, actually, before we start, okay, whether you're an actor or not, because I know I said like I'm an actor at the beginning, and if you're an actor, you'll want to take note of what I'm about to say, but stay on the scope even if you're not, because the actual scope's nothing to do with acting. It's all about, well, it applies to everybody. But just so I can give this a little bit of promo, tomorrow night, if you're an actor, tomorrow evening in the UK at 7:30 PM, so whatever time that will be for you in the States, if you're in the States, I'm hosting something called Showreel Surgery. So if you're an actor and you've got a showreel and you're struggling to edit it, you don't really know whether it's any good, you're struggling with the order of your clips, you don't know what to put where, how it should be set out, that kind of stuff, I'm hosting a showreel surgery with a top showreel producer called Chris Stone, great director as well, he's fantastic. You can join it live, completely for free. It's going to be video broadcast. We're going to dissect 3 showreels live on the night. Chris is going to go through 3, point out the good, the bad and the ugly of them all, and give loads of tips on how you can get your showreel to the point where it's going to get you more castings than it ever has done before. To do that, all you've got to do, this is a bit ghetto this, I've literally just put this up, you've got to follow us on Twitter, follow @ActOnThisTV, follow @ChrisStoneFilms, and then tweet us a link to your showreel and hashtag it Showreel Surgery. Chris is going to choose 3 tomorrow that is going to feature live on the broadcast tomorrow night. So if you want to have your showreel dissected and you know, kind of appraised, broken down critically but constructively, then make sure you are following @OnThisTV, @ChrisStoneFilms, and you're using the hashtag Showreel Surgery. There's going to be no recording of it because we're going to be breaking down people's showreels, and also we're going to be showing people's showreels live. People are going to want to go away and edit them and change them. So I'm not going to make a recording of it because I don't want to keep a recording of their reel if they're going to then go and change it, because it's not very good for them to have something online that isn't what, you know, necessarily what they want online. So there will be no recording for that reason. I don't want to have some critical assessment of what's not good about someone's reel permanently online for them, because that's not how we do. There will be no recording. What happens on the broadcast stays on the broadcast, guys. So Patrick said he's going to be filming with Chris. Awesome, Patrick's going to be doing his showreel stuff with Chris. So yeah, join us live for that if you're interested. So tonight, guys, book club. We're looking at Preston Smiles' brand new book called Love Louder, 33 Ways to Amplify Your Life. For those who don't know anything about Preston Smiles, he actually used to be an actor, Preston, back in the day. But he today's thought leader. He's a motivational speaker. He does a hell of a lot for charity. He's involved with a charity called Pencils for Promise. They build schools in underprivileged parts of the world. He's an awesome guy. Anna says, I miss loads of chapters don't worry, Anna, I'm going to read you 2 chapters tonight, and then if you want to get the book, particularly if you're watching on the replay, you'll be able to click on a link underneath the video, take you straight through to Amazon, or if you're in the States, because it'll take you through to amazon.co.uk, get yourself on amazon.com so you can order it for yourself. Tonight we're looking at 2 chapters. One's called The Taste Test, and the next chapter after that we're going to look at is called Blue Frog Moments. Makes absolutely no sense to you whatsoever right now, but by the end of this scope it will do. It's probably going to be about a 30-minute scope. If you are ready, give me some hearts. For those who are new to Periscope, you don't know what hearts are, tap the screen. 1 finger if you enjoy it a little bit, 2 if you love it, 3 if you love it even more, and then just go mental if you're well up for it. All the hearts are coming through. Looking lean round the gunnies this evening, says Fanny. Bit of gymmage, just because I was ill over the weekend, so I hit it extra hard today. Thanks for noticing, Fanny. Appreciate you. Right, okay, chapter 8, okay. Alex is here as well. Good evening, Alex. The taste test. This is all about language. This can absolutely change your life in a moment if you adopt what I'm going to read, and well, Preston's words, his book, but what I'm going to read to you. I'm massive on language, on self-talk particularly. This doesn't just include the language that comes out of this, it's the language that goes on in here. Okay, you can have positive self-talk or negative self-talk. If I'm in the gym and I'm about to try and lift a heavy weight, if I'm telling myself in my head, this is going to be hard, you ain't going to do it, oh God, you're going to fail, you might not be able to lift it, what if it falls on you? Negative self-talk, the likelihood of me lifting that weight decreases massively. If I get on that weights bench and I'm like, of course you can do this, I can picture myself lifting that weight, it going up easy, I'm like, you've done this before, you know you can do it. The likelihood of me doing it increases massively, and it's like that with your language that comes out of your mouth and in your head on an everyday basis. And that's the basis for this. It's called the taste test. Preston says language has the power to transform. Okay, he says it's how we express our thoughts and feelings, but most people don't realize that their language is a huge barrier to their freedom. Unless it's literally the end of the world, right? And it's not. You don't get to have a lifetime pity party, or you shouldn't at least, all right? How we speak about things is a window into our view of reality. Okay, so right now, give me some hearts if you think your language on an everyday basis is pretty good, maybe it is positive. Good evening, Gary, great to see you here. Great director / writer, Gary's in the house. So he says, many of us have heard the phrase, change your thoughts, change your life. Now, whilst this is powerful, it's a powerful bit of wisdom, it isn't always that easy to implement though, okay? In those tricky times when your life is feeling a little overwhelming, and sometimes that can be on a daily basis for a lot of people. Sam, good evening. On days when you're feeling, your life can be overwhelming, a change in language can be the gateway to changing your thoughts. So sometimes it's tricky to just change your thoughts. If you're having a shit day and things aren't going very well, it's very easy to go, oh well, I should just change my thoughts. But if things are, making you feel overwhelmed, it's difficult to just switch, okay? But if you change your language first, that will cause a change in your thoughts. I am reading the book, Fanny, I think you asked that. Yeah, so I'm reading it, but I'm kind of paraphrasing at times as well. So Preston says, by consistently replacing disempowering thoughts and disempowering language with empowering thoughts and empowering language, we can transform our lives dramatically. I'm going to go into what that means now. Okay, the problem is most of us have picked up our communication skills from the world we grew up in. Now this is going to resonate with you, I know it will, because it did for me. From our parents, okay, from our classmates, our friends and close family. If your mum was a complainer, as much as you swore you wouldn't be like her when you grow up, you most likely find it natural to lean towards negativity and complaining in life. We are, aren't we, the average of the people we surround ourselves with. Your mum, growing up, your best friends, your classmates are going to be so integral because they're going to be people you're spending the most time with. And if they are complainers, likelihood is you're going to grow up to be one as well. So if you grew up in a household of silver linings, on the other hand, okay, you'll be more inclined to find the good in everything. But I don't know many people like that, all right? But don't fret. Every thought, statement and feeling is creative in nature. And because of that, with the language we choose, moment to moment, the idea here is to create by design, consciously choosing the language that leads to transforming our thoughts. If Fanny says, they F you up, your mum and dad. Great book. They can do if you choose to follow in their footsteps if they haven't set particularly good examples, Fanny. So he says, most of the world, including me for most of my life, has no clue how the process of manifestation works. They're clueless as to how to design the life of their dreams, yet are unconsciously designing it in every waking moment. Have you ever met someone who has been wronged in some way, or who has fallen on hard times and is then obsessed with telling everybody who knows that person in their life who's had something happen to them years ago that might have happened wrong, and then they're still talking about it today? Oh, Samira said, did you write this book? No. So this book is written by this chap on the front, Preston Smiles. He's got a massive YouTube channel. He's a bit of a motivational speaker now. Used to be an actor, great author. Does loads for charity, and basically is a bit of a thought leader today. Fanny says, yes, I attract those people. My mother is included. Old beliefs versus new beliefs, says Anna. Yeah, absolutely. So something that's affected someone in their life 25 years ago sometimes can still affect them today because of the limiting beliefs they formed around that at the time. If they were told at school they weren't particularly intelligent, 25 years later, even though they've grown so much within those 25 years and they've got way more intelligent, they can still have hang-ups because they were told 25 years ago that they weren't intelligent. So it's crazy. So Anna says, my dad was a manic depressive. So that's absolutely going to, kind of have rubbed off on yourself, Anna. If you don't control that, then you'll have a likelihood to kind of, slip into that behaviour as well sometimes. Those people go on my limited association list, says Tony. Hard to break away from it, but it's possible. It is, and I'm going to go on to tell you how you can, you can at least break away from these kind of patterns, negative patterns of thoughts, feelings and emotions via your language. Okay, so something that I try and practice on a daily basis. Even when I'm not feeling it, I do it, and honestly it makes a difference. I'm going to tell you how I do that, but we'll read what Preston says first. So about these people who always tell you about how they've fallen on hard times, he says they have their story so fine-tuned that you could recite it back to them. Almost word for word, you've heard it that many times. That story is told over and over because they get a payoff every time they tell it. They get to be right about how messed up things are. They have a rationale for why their life isn't where it's supposed to be. And they get the sympathy, this is key, of everyone around them. And whilst that payoff may seem attractive to some, rest assured it's doing critical damage to what's possible for their future. Okay, our thoughts and words create our reality. By attracting into our lives more of what we're putting out into the world, the more we obsess about what's not working, the more things won't work. The more we use language of positivity and love, the more our energy will attract that into our space. So Preston says, my mum used to say, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all. And now, 25 years later, he says that he gets that statement on a whole new level. Bottom line, if you want your life to take off, you have to stop talking like a victim. Miss Gypsy says, yes, exactly. So does Fanny. So many of us are wishy-washy with our language. So many of us speak things like, I may, I'll try, I hope, I have to. Instead of being definite, I will, I choose to, I desire. Preston says, be conscious with your words, they make up your reality. Okay, now the challenge that he puts at the end of this chapter, he says, today speak with reverence and pride, using the language of champions to take your power back. Okay, take note of how many times you use the word can't, or statements that immediately disempower you or another person. Find ways to shift that disempowering language to something that feels like it's coming from a place of choice. For instance, great example, instead of saying I can't because I don't have any time, that would then become, as an empowering statement, I choose not to because I'm committed to focusing my time on other things. Love this concept, says Tony. This gives us permission to be kinder to ourselves. It definitely does. So let's just go over. That's the end of that chapter. It's very short, but these are just kind of like talking points for us. So let's go over some examples that we could use in our lives to change our language from disempowering language to empowering language. Because remember, your subconscious, guys, is always listening. So this is just as important what comes out your mouth, but so much more important as well about what goes on in here. So for instance, in the UK, right, when we say to anybody, hey, how's it going? Their default answer generally is to say something like, all right, okay. Or fine. I hate that one. Even, oh yeah, fine. But what's fine? I mean, fine's just shit, innit? Be specific and give yourself permission sometimes, if life is going great, to go, great, really, really good. You know, it's going really great right now. If things aren't going great, don't have the tendency and slip into the trap of going, shit, things aren't very good. You know, I'm feeling completely overwhelmed. So let's think of an example. What would be better than saying overwhelmed? Okay, so rather than saying, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed, I don't know where to start. It would be better to say something like, hey, how's it going, Ross? Oh, you know what? Awesome at the moment. You know, so blessed with opportunity right now. I'm just figuring out which of those opportunities to take and which ones I'm going to throw away. Instantly makes you feel so much more in control of the situation, as opposed to going, I'm so overwhelmed by all the things that I could do right now, I don't know which one to do first. You know? What other examples have we got? Let's have a think. Throw me some examples, guys, of default answers that a lot of people give. So excited, Anna says excited. I'm not having a bad day, I'm having a character building day. Yeah, exactly. Fine, here people want you to guess what they're feeling. Okay, so in the States people want you to guess what they're feeling. Yeah, you know, I'm having a character building day. You know, I'm just figuring out, you know, like I say, which opportunities to, you know, to take. If you are feeling good and things are going well, say that. And also as well, you know, guys, I'm all for people sharing that. I went down Facebook before just as a bit of an experiment to discover what people are talking about. Ross, some news documentary with MUTV is an extraordinary read out on the 22nd of the 9th. Thanks, Patrick. Patrick's a big Man United fan. 22nd of September, Man United documentary. But yeah, so many people on Facebook are so quick to share what's not good in their life. And there's loads of that going on, and then everybody else jumps on that as well and goes, oh, I know, mate, it's so terrible, nothing's right in my life either, oh, this is such a tragedy, oh, well, how the world has gone to shit, all this sort of stuff. Yet so very few people share what's good in their life on Facebook. And I think we kind of need more of that to show other people that it's all right. And you know what, some people will resent you for doing it, because it highlights what isn't right in their life, because they're the ones focusing on all the negative shit and using all this negative language about why they are where they are at. So that's another little side thing I want to say. Start sharing the wins way more than the losses, because we all think it's completely acceptable to share all the shit that's gone wrong in our lives. You get those statements on Facebook that just says, oh my God, not again, and nothing else, so that everyone should say, oh my, what's the problem, honey, are you okay? Bullshit attention seeking. I've been looking for ways to share the concept of stop and think before you post. Yeah, that's true, Tony, it's true. Am I adding value to others? Yeah, definitely. Conversely, I see many stating how amazing their life is every single day. Unrealistically, yeah, be realistic. That's the key, Fanny, definitely. A lot of people, you know, I look at some people and I go, God, I wish your life was as good as you make it out to be. Because I know it's not. I speak to some people in my life, and I'm friends with them, who will tell me on the phone how terrible everything is. And 10 seconds later, I'll see on Instagram some bullshit post they put up about how amazing everything is. And I'm like, there's got to be a balance between, you know, definitely always, obviously we're talking about looking on the bright side of life right now, you know, and focusing on the positives. That's absolutely key. But you've also got to own the negatives. Hold yourself accountable for the negatives. Take responsibility for them, not just mask them with something. That's true. I like sharing the hashtag not perfect for that reason. Yeah, so you're doing that, Tony, on Facebook. It's good. A lot of people sugarcoat their lives on social media. Social media has been the best and worst thing for humanity. So amazing, the opportunities that it gives us, and just the internet in general. But also so tragic, kind of like how people feel they have to live up to some completely unrealistic stereotype of how, you know, just some kind of like, I have to live up to the Kim Kardashian lifestyle or some rapper's lifestyle or this, that and the other. And it's so ridiculously unrealistic. So yeah, share the wins, equally share the losses, but not in an overindulgent way, so you're just constantly banging on about how crap everything is or how amazing stuff is when it isn't. I feel so inferior in social media. Applaud you for your honesty, Fanny, because I know probably everybody on this scope, including myself, has felt that at one time or another, where you're like, is my life living up to how good everyone else's life seems to be? But I wrote an article, one of the most popular articles I've written on Act on this, called Don't Compare Your Backstage with Somebody Else's Front Stage. And one of the examples I used in it was Robin Williams, who on social media had a glittering lifestyle. Seemed like he had everything going for him, movies coming out of his ears, family, friends, great, everything. And 3 days after he posted a super positive status on Twitter, he hung himself. So it's just somebody's front stage. It's not a real reflection of their lives. You've always got to remember that. Don't compare what's going on in your messy world to what's going on in somebody's, perceivably perfect front stage. It's exactly like if you're in the theatre. What's going on the stage can be so polished and clean and amazing. The cast running around backstage going, oh my god, am I on yet? Am I on yet? Am I on yet? Where's my hat? Where's my costume? Oh god, I can't remember my lines. Is the music going to work this time? Are the lights going to come on at the right time? It's exactly the same as that. But people forget that social media is very loosely based on real life. It isn't really real life. So first chapter, anyway, back to the book. So that first chapter, be careful this week of the language, both that's coming out your mouth and the language and your internal self-talk as well. Okay, and this is something that I do, right? And this sounds a little bit out there and a bit mental. I'll wake up in the morning. I'm still nailing this morning routine that I've got. So I get up at 6:15, start walking out of the gym after my breakfast about 6:45. I'm in the gym for 7. Some mornings I drag my ass out of bed, and I don't feel that lively and that awake. But if you use your language to form your thoughts, not the other way around, okay? Because your thoughts, if they're negative, will often form negative language. If you choose to use your language first, your thoughts transform. So I will get up and audibly, if my neighbours could hear me, they'll just think, God, Ross is an absolute dickhead. But I'll get up and I'll go, honestly, I'll be like, right, today is going to be a great day, even if I don't feel it, okay? And even by just saying that, I can feel, it sounds mental, but I can feel a raise in my state of being. I may share my experience in a positive, even if hard day with people, says Miss Gypsy. On Facebook, yeah, do. Always, if you've had a bad day and you want to share that, share it, but then take 3 wins out of the day that you share as well, because you'll always find them if you look for them. I'm the same, Ross. I'm forcing smiles and laughter. And then I follow it with a positive or win. Well done. You took the words out of my mouth there, Miss Gypsy. Yeah, so Fanny, yeah, no, it works. Seriously, it works. If you're not feeling it, because your body works, the physiology of your body doesn't know if you are lying or not. So if you do smile, or you do even force a laugh sometimes, your body doesn't know whether you're faking it or not. It just goes, oh, Ross is laughing. Okay, and then your brain goes, oh right, good must be happening, and you will feel better because of that. People feel that they get it the wrong way around, really. Like I say, they feel that their thoughts form their language. Their language very often forms their thoughts. People think that their emotions form their actions. So loads of people will go, oh, I'm too tired today to go to the gym. I'll wait until I feel more energetic. This is the wrong way round. If they got up, went to the gym and expended that energy, they would then feel energetic. So they actually do it the wrong way round. Your actions form your emotions. Your emotions shouldn't be forming your actions, because if you're not feeling great, you won't take any action. Whereas if you take action first, you will feel great. So never forget that. Positive affirmations says who was that? Gary, was it? Just like if you sit differently with a better posture, it already makes you feel more confident. Absolutely. Body language is another big one. Positive affirmations can be, or incantations, with the word can there in the middle, very, very powerful. I kind of call them power phrases. And again, positive language. So before an audition, and again, I will sound mental saying this, but I don't give a shit. If I'm going into a casting, or for those who aren't actors, you can do this before you go into a job interview. Form yourselves, write these down so you know them off the top of your head. Get yourself like 3 power phrases, right, that are going to get you pumped, that you can say over and over again in your head or out loud. If you can say them out loud and physically embody them on the way to the audition when you're walking, This is better, you're going to feel it more, but in situations sometimes you can't do that, you can just say them to yourself in your head. But I have a few. One of them I have is everything I need is inside me now, and I have the courage to see it through. Everything I need is inside me now, and I have the courage to see it through. Everything I need is inside me now, and I have the courage to see it through. And I'll say this maybe half a dozen times as I'm getting up and I'm walking from the reception into the casting suite. And that positive self-talk forms those positive thoughts, and you go into that room feeling so much more empowered than saying something like, oh shit, it's my go now, what if I don't do a good job? Oh shit, it's my job now, what if I don't do a good job? It's the difference between sometimes seriously like booking a job and completely fucking it up. Another one I have, every day in every way I'm getting stronger and stronger and better and better. Every day in every way I'm getting stronger and stronger and better and better. There's a few different ones, but figure out your own and use them. Because as I say, as mental as it sounds, and it is mental, but there's a lot of science, positive psychology, a lot of science-backed positive psychology that have gone into empowering language. Same with body language, it's exactly the same. It works ultimately. So from this chapter in the book, I just want people to be more conscious this week at least, moving forward and into the weekend. Be more conscious of their language, and also of the language that they say to other people as well, because sometimes you'll know what it's like if you're in a good mood and you ask somebody else, how you doing, and they go, oh, totally shit, can I talk to you for a minute? And then within 3 or 4 minutes your batteries are drained because this person's just drained you. Be conscious of your language for the sake of others, not just yourself. Make sure, if your language is positive, you're more likely to evoke positive language from other people, which will then, it's almost like a feedback loop, will feed into you. And then before you know it, you'll be sat there with someone going, you're great, no, you're great, no, you're greater, and it just escalates. And you'll come away from coffees like that you have with people feeling, super pumped, like just ready to, go and tackle whatever you've got to tackle. So that's chapter 1. This next chapter, well, it wasn't chapter 1, that was actually chapter 8, wasn't it, in the book? Is titled Blue Frog Moments. It's going to make no sense to you whatsoever, but it will do in a minute. This is kind of what I was hinting on before about how people will react to you sometimes when you share stuff on Facebook, which is positive because not a lot of people are used to it. They're more used to sharing all the shit in their life, and they will resent you sometimes for sharing those wins in your life. I promise you will inspire more people than you won't. But this will help you deal with some of the shit that people throw at you, just in life in general, not just for that, but for other things as well. So blue frog moments, and this is why, though, also why you should pay attention to what pisses you off. Okay? And I hope if people would give you flack for posting positive stuff, it wouldn't actually piss you off because you know it's the right thing to do. So it wouldn't actually be a blue frog moment. Let me explain what a blue frog moment is. So Preston says, in my lifetime, I've been called a faggot, a nigger, a bitch, a punk, an asshole, a hypocrite, mean, closed off, and many other names. He says, but only closed off really bothered me. Why? Why is that? So he gets called all those disgusting names, and then someone says, oh, but you're closed off. And that's the thing that pisses him off. None of the other things do. The names there are horrific, but they don't annoy him. He says it's because some part of that thing, some part of it was actually true. Some part of him being closed off was actually true. He says, when I really thought about it, I was still guarding my heart and being selective with my love. And that might be you. You might find it difficult. You might have a caged heart. It might have been bruised before or broken before and it's a bit battered. And you feel it's safer to lock it away than to open it up and go, you know what, it might be bruised, but I'm still going to give it to everybody. And that's a real choice that you should make. Caged heart is not going to live a very fulfilled, existence. So he says a mentor of mine calls it a blue frog moment. If someone calls you a blue frog, you would laugh and not take it personally at all, because you're not an amphibian, all right? But if that same person called you a liar and it stings and cues up the defensive, a defensive nature, then bingo, that's where your work lies, because you might relate to that and go, I am a liar. That's why it hurts. It says, when I realised that being called closed off stung, I knew it was because it was true. I knew that I still had a lot of work to do in opening myself up, letting my guard down and allowing people to see the real me. Now I use this tool all the time as a gauge or a gauge to where there is still work to be done. So this is the challenge for this chapter. He says, scan your life for those times when a comment towards you really pissed you off. Ask yourself if it was a blue frog moment. What lessons is there in this for you? And what did this trigger for you? So yeah, like I say, when people like give you shit for being positive, it shouldn't bother you, because you know it's the right thing to do and it's a good thing to be. It's only when someone calls you something and you go, shit, I don't like being called that, when generally it's because you might be a bit of whatever they've called you. If someone calls you a liar and you know you're not going to be bothered at all. You're like, whatever, call me a liar if you want, mate, but you know, I know I'm not. So it's not going to bother you at all. It's only the things that probably piss you off where you're like, actually. So for me, sometimes I will leave a couple of, I overcommit myself to things. I say yes to too many things still, even though I know I shouldn't. It's because I like helping people. And then sometimes I'll be rushing to complete something, and then someone will say to me, something like, oh, you take too many things on. And then I go, no I don't, I can do this, and I get a bit snappy. And instantly I realised, you're dead right, and the reason I'm feeling pissed off is because I know it's something I need to work on, and I need to say no. Christine, good evening. And I need to say no more often, and I know it's a flaw that I have, so when someone highlights that, it can annoy me a little bit, because I know that I should say no. So for that, in your life, look at the things that piss you off ultimately, because when someone calls you something you're not, you don't care. It's only when you're called something that actually deep down you're like, oh, okay, yeah, no, there's actually a little bit of truth in that it's probably going to annoy you. I open my mouth before I think, says Anna. I think we've all got tendencies to do that if you're not in control of your emotions sometimes, and you let you serve your emotions as opposed to your emotions serving you. Anger gets people people into trouble sometimes when they they don't count to 5 and think whether it's worth it. And being mindful on that will help you a lot, Anna. Sometimes some guy yesterday, I was crossing the road. I was, he was miles away from me, but decided that he was going to speed up. I don't know, and I didn't run or rush. I just carried on walking the same pace that I was, because I was like, you're an idiot. You saw me like 200 yards away, and you just sped up here. What's the rush? There's no other cars on the road. And I carried on, and he had to slow down a little bit, and he just beeped. And for a second, I was like, right, I've got two options here. I can turn around and shout at you, flick the bird at you or whatever, or I can project some positivity on you and say, you know what, okay, maybe you're having a bad day and you've just had a call from someone saying that they're ill, or they've been rushed to hospital or something like that, and then you had to speed up at that particular point. You weren't doing it just to annoy me, you were doing it because there was a reason behind it. And if you project that kind of positivity onto people and think, you know what, you're just doing the best that you can do with the shit that you've got. I wouldn't have reacted or behaved like you have. That isn't up to my standards, but you can't help it because your standards aren't as high as I hold myself to. You win all the power back. And you're like, maybe he recognised you. Maybe Gary sat through one of these periscopes and thought, oh God, there's that dickhead. So yeah. Tony says, good for you, bud. It mostly has nothing to do with us and more to do with themselves. It's not even mostly, Tony. It's always more to do with them than it is to do with you. And that, that's life. But if you can, honestly, that'll transform your life and your well-being and the state that you live in most of the time. If you do project more positively onto other people, even if people, are really being unreasonable, almost it seems like they're going out of their way to be idiots and to upset you and whatever. Almost like this blue frog thing. If you know you're a good person deep down, none of that's really going to affect you, or it shouldn't. You're just like, actually, you know what? I'm going to let you off. You're being ruled by your emotions. You've got no control over them. But you're just doing the best that you can with what you've got. Or you might have just met someone and they have a problem with you for no reason, says Alex. Is that a recurring theme, Alex? Well, you know what? I've had that a couple of times. Not for any other reason than so I'm partially sighted. I can't see I've got no peripheral vision, and it affects up and down as well. Makes me feel sorry for them instead of being mad, says Tony. And sometimes when I used to go out, I'd go out like in bars and stuff, and when it's dark, it's even worse for me. So someone would just put their hand out, and I can't see my own hand if I put it out there. Literally, I see like this. So people would think that I was ignoring them or I was arrogant. People would be stood next to me and I wouldn't see them and think I was ignoring them. So that used to get me into quite a bit of trouble, and I used to kind of hide that because I was quite embarrassed by it. I didn't really want anyone to think there's anything wrong with me. And that was a wrong thing to do. The minute I started embracing it and explaining to people when I met them, like I'd gone a night out, if it was someone new on the night out, I'd be like, listen, if for some reason tonight we're out and it looks like I'm ignoring you, or you're stood next to me, you're trying to talk to me and I don't like I'm engaging with you, it's not because I'm ignoring you. You need to be stood right in front of me if I'm going to see you. And when you start embracing it and explaining to people, like I said, shit's ton easier. So yeah, sometimes you've got to be honest with people as well, Alex. Definitely, if that happens regular, because that used to happen to me quite a bit, and I'm like, oh man, I don't want people to think I'm just a total dickhead. It's not. There's something much deeper than that. So yeah, interesting. But yeah, that was chapter. Well, what chapter was that? That was chapter 14 of the book. Blue Frog Moments. Why you should pay attention to what pisses you off. So there are 2 chapters I wanted to look at tonight. What do you reckon of the book so far? We looked at it last week. There's loads of chapters in it. We've looked at 2 tonight. There's a possibility to do another 2 for the next 3 weeks on the trot, and we'll do it for the whole of September. Who's up for it? Let me know, or let me know if you prefer to get a different book. I think what's nice about this, Anna says really like it, says Gary, is sometimes, and this is the curse of knowledge as well, sometimes when you've read a lot of books, you feel like you're going over old ground again and again. And I know there's a lot of people joining these scopes who won't have read all of this other stuff behind me, so some of this stuff will be brand new to you. So sometimes I think, because I've heard some of this stuff that everybody else has, and I think it's just a really nice, simple recap on a lot of stuff. That concept of answering more often with love was a big aha moment for me, says Tony. Awesome, brilliant. Definitely, I need to do that for things to register. So Anna needs to. Yeah, it's great to go over stuff, isn't it? You know, it's cool. Recurring themes in all these great books. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, success ultimately is success. It's never going to change. It's been success since the beginning of time. And that's why something like Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich is such a great book, because it was written 100 years ago, but it's amazing because yes, it's written in slightly oldie worldy language, but it's just as relevant today as it was back then. Success will never change. The elements that bring about success will always be the same. You'll apply them differently. Social media wasn't here when Napoleon Hill was writing his book. Just started reading it, so Miss Ipsy just started reading this, great book. But yeah, you know, all of these things that Preston talks about and that a lot of these other books kind of talk about in slightly different, nuanced ways, are also relevant, will always be relevant. You can't reinvent success. It is what it is. Like I say, you'll apply it to different things to become successful in different areas, but it is what it is. Ways in which we can achieve the motivation to get there can differ. Well, yeah, I mean, what you've got to do, Fanny, it will differ based on the individual. So, it will, you know, things that work for me might not necessarily work for you. Things that work for you might not necessarily work for me. So things like The Secret don't resonate with me that much because I'm very scientific. I love what it does for people. I love The Secret in terms of how it has brought positive psychology into the mainstream. I think that's like one of the best things that it could have done. But I love the science behind The Secret that the book doesn't talk about. There's a shitload of science behind it. So for me, I absolutely value the message in it, and I know how it works and why it works, but that book doesn't tell you why it works. It just says do this and good things will happen to you, and ultimately it will, but I like to understand why those good things will happen to me. It talks about quantum physics. It does, but in a bit more of a magical kind of way. It's actually, you know, it's pretty much completely chemical driven how The Secret works, and it's all to do with what's inside your head, not necessarily what's out there in the universe. You can't, well, I don't think you can, maybe you can, but I don't buy that I can, you know, go, I want a bike, as a kid, maybe a 10-year-old, I want a bike, I want a bike, I want a bike, and then a bike will appear out of thin air. It doesn't. By saying that, I will tune my reticular activating system in my brain into opportunities to get a bike. Thus, the filter in my brain will see more opportunities to get a bike, and that's how I will get a bike. not because the universe has made it out of thin air. It's the energy though, isn't it? Well, I mean, there's a shitload of, energy can't, well, the laws of physics and quantum physics and, energy can't be created or destroyed. It can only be transferred from one means into another. It's physics, that, yeah, absolutely. Everything is energy. I have shitloads, says Anna. Amazing. Do you know what? It's fascinating. I was having a conversation with somebody before about the universe in general in terms of space, and just saying how our galaxy, just how tiny it is, including all the planets in our galaxy, compared to the universe. It blows my mind. There are a shitload of things, guys, I will never be able to explain through science or psychology or chemicals or how it works. It just works, and that's what I love about the world as well, and the universe in that sense. It is ridiculously magical because it's so bloody massive. Franny says, have you read Hawking's books? I've not. I've seen a lot of documentaries that Stephen Hawking has done. The man is phenomenal. I don't understand them all. Sometimes he loses me. I saw one once that was on the theories of time travel, which I thought was amazing, that if you could get yourself up on a certain trajectory at a certain speed around the planet, you could effectively travel in your real time for something like 11 minutes, and 3 years will have gone past on Earth. I don't quite understand how it worked. Anna says, have you read the Bible? Parts of it. I've read parts of it. This is a little bit off topic, isn't it? But I'm not particularly religious at all, but I'm very spiritual, and I don't want to slag anything off that I haven't given a chance or I don't kind of understand. So when there's this whole, let's just be topical right now, that when the whole kind of media attack on Islam, and Islam is bad and Muslims are all terrorists, and all this kind of things came about, I was like, actually, you know what? I'm not going to jump on this bandwagon and just start saying that if I'm not educated. I'm not going to say that anyway because I don't believe that. But I'm going to read the Quran, and I'm going to read what it says. And do you know what? There's some stuff in the Quran. There's some stuff that I absolutely disagree with massively, and there's some stuff in the Quran that I can't explain how they would have known that at the time. So they talk in the Quran about things like the 7 heavens. And since, they wouldn't have known through science, but science today can prove that there are 7 levels to the atmosphere. We've got the stratosphere, the lithosphere, the hemisphere, all these different spheres that make up our, atmosphere, the upper realms of the planet. There's 7 of them. I don't know how they would have known that back then. They talk about the seas not mixing. And we now know through science that the seas don't mix due to salt densities. Where 2 seas meet, if the density in this ocean is different in this to do with salt, it's almost like a physical barrier. The two don't mix. One thing we can know for sure, if you weren't an actor, Ross, you would have been a physicist. Maybe. I don't know. I listened to some of the Quran as an audiobook. I was told principles in the secret come from the New Testament. You can find them in the Premier Inn. Yes, you can. You can find all Bibles at the Premier Inn hotels. Yeah, you'll always find one in your hotel drawer. But yeah, so I was like, well, I'm not gonna have an opinion on a religion I know nothing about. But I've never studied intimately our religious script or anything. I read the Quran. It was a puffin version, so it wasn't a total kids version, but it was a pretty dumbed down version of it. But it was still still very relevant. I thought it was Gideon's in hotels. No idea, Fanny, on religion. Literally, it's just something that right now. I love what religion can do for some people. I think it gives people, a lot of hope and community, and it's something that's lovely to for some people to give them security, particularly if they're on their own or they're a bit older and they don't have a lot of family around them. Right now, it's just my opinion, every war on this planet is being fought over religion right now. It's so sad, but it's true. Where you look, where conflict is going on right now, there's rival factions of various religions killing each other. It happened in Ireland over here. God, we had it for years, Catholics and Protestants in Ireland. And no doubt, if religion didn't exist, people would find another excuse to kill each other for no reason. But for me, that's one thing that I will never get along with when it comes to religion. The fact that people use it for, as an excuse for such terrible things. So I don't get along with it that well, but I am massively spiritual, so spiritual. I really believe that this is not it. You know, there's a reason why we can all be made of this, you know, very similar DNA. Never forget your DNA is completely unique though, and will never exist again when you die, so use it wisely. But we consist of very similar things to each other, and yet we are also very different. Me and my brother, same parents, same genetics, such different people, different voices, different views on the world, different likes, different dislikes, and yeah, I'm like, there's got to be a spirit, there's got to be a soul inside this shell. You know, this isn't Ross. Something, you know, much, I don't know, more on a much higher plane, I guess, is who, you know, who I am, what I am. So yeah, it's interesting. I don't know, I'm very spiritual, but I'm not massively religious as such. I find it very, there's hundreds of gods for a start. People throughout time talk about, you know, literally hundreds of different gods. How on earth do you choose which one is supposed to be the god, the one who's built everything, when there's so many? Definitely. Fanny, why are you working so hard on that outer then? Do you know what, Fanny? The reason I work so hard in the gym and on myself and my health is because I feel that I owe it to myself to be as healthy as I can, to grow as old as I can on this planet, to experience as much of it, you know, as it has to offer. My overall goal in life, screw acting, this is serious now, screw everything, success, business, anything like that. My overall goal in life is to reach 100 years old. Not even a joke. Not even joke. That's the one thing I care more about than any of the other shit. I want to reach 100, because to think, you know, what the planet will be, it will be 2082 when I'm 100. You know, it's 66 years off. It's staggering to think about what we'll have at that point, what will be around, how the world will be. That's the dream. And maybe I'll live longer than that. I don't know. Maybe I won't get there. Maybe I will. But, you know, for me, investing in myself, showing up positively on a daily basis is what it's all about. And we've spoken about this, says Sam. Kate will also be that. Oh, yeah, Kate Middleton, a.k.a. the future Queen of England, will also be 100. She won't be nearly as good looking as she is now, but I'd still like to get a telegram off her. You know, maybe have a drink, see where it goes. I'm joking, William. I know Prince William watches these scopes, so I'm only kidding, Wills. I won't steal your wife. My son says I'm old at 21. It's I'll beat you to 106, says Fanny. Wow, definitely. I remember when I was 21 and I thought people who were 33 were old and past it. I'm now 33. I'm 34 in just over a week. But I was talking to Bert, my mate in the gym. He's in his 80s. I thought he's only in his 70s, but he told me today he was 50. He's been 58 years married, which means I figured him out to be in his 80s now. Anna's 33 as well. I said to him today, he said, you know, how old are you? I said, I'm 34 in a week. And I said, but I'm embracing it, Bert. I said, because growing older is, I've said before, is a privilege so very few people get on this planet, or not enough people get on this planet. When you think of the kids that have been killed in Syria today, or I heard on the news a family had been mowed into by a joyride earlier today in London, a child lost a life. Will there be a scope once you reach 100? Oh, totally, Tony. There will be a massive Periscope when I reach 100. We probably won't be on the Periscope platform. We'll be like probably zooming into each other's. We'll be like probably transport ourselves over to America for that one. Don't worry about. Not in a plane, as in like just go. Yeah. Have you got the transport app? Yeah. Boop. And we're off like Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory. Gene Wilder, dead. Shame. Lived a great life though. Let's celebrate that. Let's not look at the negative. But yeah, a huge act on this birthday bash, says Alex. We will definitely have that as well. In fact, God, imagine what act on this will be doing when I'm 100. I don't know if I'll still be. Maybe I will still be interviewing people. Larry King's getting on a bit. He's still interviewing people. Legend, total legend. But yeah, that's ultimately one of my main goals in life. So that's why I work out, try to be as healthy as possible, and yeah, ultimately just show up in the world as best as I can. And some days that isn't as good as other days, but you know, it's being all right with that, and coming to terms with the fact that it's fine to realise you don't have to have it all figured out. When is the next meet-up? Gene Wilder was hot, says Fanny. The next meet-up is Saturday, Alex. This Saturday, the 3rd of September. at 11 AM at Home, the theatre in Manchester. Look in the Facebook group, click on the events tab. If you're not part of the Facebook group, guys, by the way, if you're watching on the replay, facebook.com/groups/ActOnThisTV. Come and join. We're nearly at 2,500 members, the most supportive acting group I've ever seen in my life, because that's what we make. We don't accept anything less than that. Sorry, I'm reading the comments here. Alice says, exercise makes you feel great. No, it does. But yeah, this Saturday, we'll need to bring the kids, says Anna. No, it's fine. Bring the kids, Anna. It's not a problem. But yeah, that's when the next meeting will be. If you go in the Facebook group, click on the events tab, you can RSVP in there and say you're going to go. And then it'll give you a little notification to remind you on the day to say you've got this event happening today. So that's it for tonight, guys. That's Book Club. Thank you for joining us. Preston Smiles, Love Louder. If you want to, I'm going, Anna, yet. If you want to get the book, if you're watching the replay, click on the link below the video. If you're not watching the replay and you're live, get yourself over Amazon, buy it. Tony Rossi's already bought it. Miss Gypsy's already bought it. It's a great read. Don't know if it's available on audiobook, but it might be. Did you say you had it on Audible, Tony? Got to miss this one, unfortunately. I'm still on holiday, says Alex. Not a problem. Thank you. What's next, says Miss Gypsy? Well, we're going to be looking at, like, people like this book, Miss Gypsy. We're going to be looking at 2 different chapters of this book for the next 3 weeks. We've got 6 chapters left to look at and discuss. Even if you've read the chapters yourself because you've got the book, I would still advise you to get on the scope, because we're going to chat about it. And you can put your ideas forward, your thoughts forward, whether you agree or disagree with it, you know, how it applies to you. So we've still got 3 weeks left on this for the whole of September. And then we'll be looking at a brand new book for October. God, it's nearly the winter. Literally tomorrow. Summer ends today, guys. Last day of summer. 1st of September is officially the first day of autumn, isn't it? Then it's going to be winter. You know it's going to be autumn because pumpkin spice lattes are going to be available at Starbucks. Yes. Which is good. Alex says, stop it, sad face from Gary. Oh, embrace it, guys. Again, another winter. You've made it to another autumn, another winter. Think of all the people this summer who unfortunately did not make it through. You've made it. Round of applause. You've done it. Embrace it. Come to the States. Summer is here till the 21st of September. Nice. September the 21st is autumn in the States. Yeah, 1st of September here in the UK. It's done. Done for us. Alex says, so true. Yeah, it's true, honestly. As I say, a little girl today unfortunately lost her life in London because a joyrider, an absolute piece of scum, stole a car, was being chased by police, mounted a curb, ran into a family. She unfortunately will not get to see autumn 2016. Her life ended in the summer of 2016 and she was just a little girl. So please embrace that you're getting older. It's a privilege, nothing more. And Sammy says she loves a good knitwear cardi. Yes. Yeah, exactly. I love that. Yeah, I like kind of like winter clothes. You get to layer up, you know, and just get nice and snug as a bug in a rug, as my mum used to say when I was about 5. Let's get you snug as a bug in a rug. Miss my gran knitting, says Miss Gypsy. I never had a gran who knitted or anything like that. Get to hide the fat, says Anna. And it's all about layering, says Fanny. Amazing. Well, yeah, give us your layering tips in the Facebook group, how we can all look cool for castings in the autumn and the winter. I need a new pair of slippers. They don't sell them in summer. They don't, Gary. That's true. Definitely. And Fanny also had snug as a bug as a rug as a child. Amazing. Right, we'll let you go, guys. Busy day tomorrow. Don't forget to join me tomorrow night, 7:30 PM UK time. I'll be like, what's that for you guys? Like 2:30 PM, something like that in the States. Showreel Surgery. Once again, follow at ActOnThisTV. Follow at Chris Stone Films. He's the showreel doctor. And then send us your reel, a link to your reel on Twitter. Once you followed us, hashtag it there, Showreel Surgery. And Chris is going to choose 3 tomorrow to appraise live on the night. Like I say, there won't be a recording of this because there's going to be some positive, constructive criticism, but I don't want to leave any criticism online as a permanent record for anybody. It will be deleted, so there will not be a replay of it. So if you don't join live, you just won't be able to join, unfortunately. Does it matter if you've seen them before? Nope, absolutely not. He's going to choose them. I don't know how he's going to do that, but he's going to choose them tomorrow, Fanny. So once you tweet us them, he'll have a look, choose his 3, and then we're going to look on the night of those. Even if yours isn't chosen, though, the idea behind it is that you're going to take all of his knowledge and advice that he offers those people, and maybe implement that in your own reel if yours, you know, has the same, you know, if there's faults in someone's or if there's positives in someone's, you can go make them in yours or get rid of them in yours, depending on whether it's a good or a bad thing. How often will this happen? Once a month, until people get really bored of it. But it's just something that I thought, you know what, it's super helpful. I think it is for people anyway, because it's probably the #1 thing I get asked to look at the most. Will you look at my show reel? Will you give me advice on my show reel? And I'm like, you know what, I'm an actor, I've got my own show reel, but I'm not an expert on it. So in situations like that, I always go to the expert, because it isn't my unique ability to edit show reels. So Chris is an expert, he does it for a living and he's bloody good at it. So I'm like, Chris, let's do this feature and you can give out, you know, that advice to people. I will send in mine once it's finished, as Anna, do, definitely, and we'll feature it on a broadcast in the future. Awesome, take care guys, look after yourselves and each other. I sound like Jerry Springer. Remember Jerry Springer? He was a bit of a ledge. Show went a little bit downhill though after a while, turned into a bit of a circus. Or it goes viral positive affirmation. Don't know what you mean, Gypsy, but positive viral affirmations or viral positive affirmations sound good to me. Definitely. But yeah, take care. Remember that language. Please use empowering language. Tomorrow, get up. Remember, today is going to be a great day. Say it a couple of times. Today is going to be a great day. Today is going to be a great day. And then when you're walking down the street, give yourself some, you know, some power phrases. Every day in every way I'm getting better and better and stronger and stronger. Every day in every way I'm getting better and better and stronger and stronger. Embody that, feel it, come up with your own power phrases, and just, you know, out of all of it, just be careful about what you're saying to yourself. Remember, your subconscious is always listening. You can't close your ears, particularly of your subconscious. It will hear what you say, good or bad. So please just talk good. For a few days at least, see how it affects you. And look out for those blue frog moments as well. If you're pissed off because someone's called you something, it's maybe because you're acknowledging that you might be a little bit off whatever they've called you. If it doesn't annoy you, it's probably because you know you're not that thing. So just take note of what pisses you off and if there are any of those blue frog moments in your life. Right, I'm out of here. Thanks so much. If you're watching on the replay, bloody hell, good on you. That's 57 minutes. Thank you for watching. Come and join us live on the next one. Gary says we're all awesome. We are all awesome, absolutely. You know what? You are not. Just, I'll say this before I go. Everyone who's still here on this scope, and everyone who was here for the majority of it, you are different to everybody else. You bet on yourself. You don't leave things to chance. You are actively trying to improve yourselves. So you are in, you know, the top few percent of human beings, because most people at this time, particularly those in the UK, would be in bed or wouldn't give themselves an hour out of their night. They would be watching House of Cards or Stranger Things on Netflix or Big Brother or whatever it is. So Gary, you are all awesome, definitely. So yeah, give yourself some credit for that. So yeah, thanks for joining, guys. I'll be back on Monday with a scope called Motivation and Mind Hacks. I'll also release on iTunes on Friday a podcast called 5 to Thrive. Hipster says would love a 9 PM start. Something we've toyed with in the past, Hipster. It's a possibility if a lot of people want it, that we do it. I'm very democratic. If you want to create a post in the Facebook group, see how many other people want to do that, I'll do whatever the majority wants. I'm not going to dictate. You guys, a 9 AM start would be great. I sometimes do a video on the way at the gym or on the way back from the gym. I do a Facebook Live video in the group. But yeah, I'm flexible on times, guys. I did it at 10 o'clock initially because I knew I would be free ultimately. Sometimes I have very, very busy days, productive days, but busy days where I can be out until, you know, whenever, you know, 8, 9 o'clock. And I knew at 10 o'clock I would always be in, so I could do it. But if enough people want it at 9, do it at 9. Keep me posted. Right, definitely going. I said I'm going about 4 times. Definitely am now. Appreciate you all. Thanks so much. Go and be great, and I'll catch you with you soon. Bye for now.